Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another exciting episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In the first corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He's the tranquil dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass I always get that part mixed up. Shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, 592, living in the 718, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a young lady who is actually back again. And we told her it was gonna happen if it happened. Now, you're probably wondering, Remy, what are you talking about? What enigmatic saying are you actually giving us now? Well, if you have been following us, whether it's 50, well, overall, you'd have noticed that she's actually been a 15 minutes of fandom guest. That's right, which is our segment where we interview our fellow wrestling fans. However, she's back as a main guest, and I told her, I said, if you ever end up getting hired by a promotion, you're gonna come back as a main guest. So here she is back again, the host of A Wrestling Gal podcast. That's right, one of the top women's wrestling podcasts that a women's wrestling fan should listen to, and the new CCW commentator, Capital Championship Wrestling, ran by our good friend Marcello. Everybody, welcome to the show, Ella J.
Hello, thank you so much for
Woo!
having me back.
Awesome. It's been, I gotta say, I'm very happy for you. I'm very, glad that, you've been having all this success, outside of your podcast, I mean, beyond your podcast. And man, let me tell y'all something right now. This woman has been doing great things besides her podcast. I mean, if you listen to a wrestling gal, you know what I mean. But if you haven't, she actually interviews women's wrestlers, not just in the great state of, well, not great state, but the great country of the US of A, but also Canada, Finland, Australia, England, all these other places she's been doing it. That's how serious she is. And when we saw that, we were like, you know something, we want to know her story. We got to have her on here. And I personally told her, I said, hey, Ella, I hope you get hired. I hope somebody hires you. And lo and behold, she's in the NWA, doing media coverage. Actually, and if you guys watched Melina's match, she was one of the paparazzi for her entrance. Yes, her. And there was another young lady by the name of Samira, who we hope to have on here real soon. They did that at Empower. So go back and watch it again and you'll see. And now she's actually one of the commentators, coincidentally, alongside Samira for Capital Championship Wrestling, one of, if not the best women's wrestling promotions in the Northeast, more specifically Delaware. Rob, I'm very jealous of you right now because you get to see all that great action. Me, I'm stuck over here in New York. Yeah, just bitter as whatnot. But hopefully one day I'll make my way down there. But Ella, how you doing tonight?
I'm super tired, but super happy to be here. It's all in the name of the game. And I'm super jealous too that Rob has literally been in person to CCW because we do our commentary like virtually, remotely. So I have not been to an event yet, but I really hope to sometime soon. I know the most recent show got postponed because of the storm. But I'm just glad everybody is safe right now.
Yeah, safety is definitely a must, and I'm glad everybody is safe too as well. Hopefully, come February, I believe it's 19th. Rob, am I correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
if they're
hopefully
ready.
come February 19th, the nothing will actually get in the way of that show taking place as it should, and everything will run smoothly and so on. So, hey, folks, that's the business, man. I mean, it happens, you know, but it's not the end of the world, you know. They'll definitely be back and whatnot. So yeah, man. Ella, man, I just gotta say, I'm very happy for you, man. Like, you don't understand how, you got through AEW media coverage and all that stuff. I'm like, and the reason why I'm happy is because one thing I like to see is people work hard and get rewarded for it. I love to see that. You know, I've seen it with one of our other guests, the Diamond Sheik. Shout out to the Diamond Sheik, working hard, and now he crafted the Dynamite Diamond ring for that MJF is wearing in AEW. And we've seen people like Roxy. You know Roxy. I know you know Roxy. Used to take a whole bus from, I think, San Antonio to Houston
Mm-hmm.
just to live her dream as a wrestler, and now she's pretty much doing the damn thing over in Impact and Ring of Honor. I mean, I like to see stuff like that, man. It just makes me happy. So yeah, man. Oh man, so many things. So first off, I gotta ask you, NWA, one of the most prestigious promotions in professional wrestling. Matter of fact, the mother of all promotions. Kathy Knight, I see you in commentary. You are a women's wrestling fan and you're in commentary, giving commentary when you have a great person here and you're on commentary and you know what to do to be on the show. I'm not going to say anything more.
Isn't she at a show tonight though?
She should be
No,
on
she
this
went to meet
show.
Undertaker. She went to meet
Oh
Undertaker.
yeah, that is right. I forgot we did
Oh,
talk
oh,
about that.
okay, never mind. Have y'all ever met before? You and Kathy?
Um, no, not in person. No, not virtually either. But we tweet. We were tweeting back and forth because she had tweeted me back after you guys had announced it. I
Man,
was like, I can't blame you. That's Undertaker, girl.
I would have liked to see two of y'all. You know something, Ella? Kathy owes me. So, see, you know how CM Punk has been asking for his ice cream bars?
Mm-hmm.
I have been asking for an all women's show on Ringside Society, and I put Kathy, my CEO, in charge of it. She has not. I told Kathy, I said, it's going to be all women. Me and Rob are going to take a back seat, grab a couple of root beers and some Cheetos, and watch a football game. And she hasn't told me anything yet about the women she wants to have on the show and whatnot. Kathy, this is on you. Folks, if you don't get an all women's ring set, if you're waiting for that all women's show, talk to Kathy. That's on her. She's the CEO. I don't know why she's putting that on me. But yeah. But anyways, we love you, Kathy. We wish you could be here, man. But get home safely and get your rest. But NWA, man, like the mother of all wrestling promotions. I'm not gonna say the most prestigious, the mother, because that's where a lot of promotions start from. You were on NWA Empower, which was strictly for the ladies, put together by Maria Kanellis, and you had many up and comers, many stars, and they even paid tribute to Daphne, R.I.P. Daphne. What was it like stepping into that building under that banner, doing media coverage and all that stuff and all that? What was it like for you?
I mean, in simplest ways, amazing. Like, I am very fortunate that I am friends and I have connections with people in NWA for that to even happen at the first ever all women's pay per view. And again, that was my first ever in person coverage, so it was also very daunting. I was honestly scared. I was very, very intimidated. But I was very fortunate. I was surrounded by a lot of women and other media personalities that I am good friends with to kind of, vibe with and guide me through it, but also being able to watch history unfold before our eyes and be a part of it too is just something so special. Like it's crazy. Like I feel like you had to have been there to truly feel like the magic that was in the air. And it sounds so cliche, but just being there when Empower happened and just looking out and seeing all of this unfold before our eyes and like the atmosphere of it all was honestly truly magical.
Wow, it seemed from what I saw, I haven't really gotten to see it because I've been so busy with, other things going on. But from the highlights I saw and even the pictures, it looked like a very great show, a classic show. And I really wish I could have actually been there in person because I could only imagine. I mean, the women's tag team champions were actually crowned there, correct?
They were the Hex now, and the Hex have defended in many places right now. They've already defended the NWA Women's Tag Team titles on NWA and Ring of Honor, a couple indie promotions, and I know they have a big title defense coming up, but I can't announce where it is yet because it hasn't been officially announced. But it may go international very shortly. I'm super excited for that. But yes, the resurgence, the reintroduction of the NWA Women's Tag Team titles were happened at Empower, and of course, the Hex, Marty Bell and Allison Kay took home the victory in the tournament.
It's funny how life is because, and I'm not trying to clout chase at all. People are probably tired of hearing me say this story, but I'm gonna give y'all the shortened version. La Rosa Negra, really good friend of mine, actually invited me out to have dinner with her and her friends when I when I got back from Japan, and lo and behold, it was actually Marty Bell and Allison Kay, and I was like, "This is cool." I can't. I mean, I'm just a mere fan. I mean, granted, the only other people that were not wrestlers were Marty Bell's family because they were in Queens, New York, where Marty Bell's from,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe that I'm actually like having dinner. Me, just a mere fan. I mean, at the time I started Ringside Society, we started Ringside Society. We were just like barely 3, 4 months in, and I was pretty much virtually like just nobody. And La Rosa Negra was like, "Come, yeah, come, let's go have dinner." And I was like, "Okay, I'm down." And then I can't believe I had dinner with the future NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. That's crazy. That's definitely something. I'm very glad for them, and I hope they get to defend those titles all over. Hopefully in CCW, you'll get to call that action as well too, and
I hope so.
you know all that. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing the Renegade Twins and them go head to head. That'd be awesome as well too.
Battle of the Tag Team Champions. I'm here for it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So now with the paparazzi entrance, what was going through? Were you nervous or were you like, you know what, I got this, man? I mean, you know, I've been doing this for a while. Like I said, You've been PWI and all that too, man. Like, were you nervous or were you like, I got this, or was it a mixture of both?
Oh no, we only got the text like a mere probably 5 hours before showtime. And then we had to quickly go back to the hotel, get changed. We had multiple rehearsals because I hadn't used a flash camera in like forever, and I was like, I cannot screw this up. And so we literally had multiple like rehearsals with all the rest of us because it was me, Samira, our good friend DS from Ring the Bell, and Will from Will Pro Travels. And so I was terrified. Like, we're going to be live on pay per view. We knew probably around 1 o'clock that day that would be happening. The pay per view starts live at 7. We knew we were going on around mid show, like the first hour into it. Definitely very daunting, but we had multiple rehearsals. We actually went up on the stage a couple hours before just so we could have a run through. Mickey gave us the run through. That was great. We had Melina's blessing. She kind of gave us a little pointers, a little notes that she had. And so after we kind of went on stage during the rehearsals that Mickey kind of walked us through and the crew kind of brought us through. It was a little bit more like we got this, we know what we're doing, but also like we're live on pay-per-view, and so we can't screw up.
That's cool, man. That's awesome that you and Samira got to do that. And so now, you two were worked together on that paparazzi entrance, you and Samira. What was going through your mind? You get that call from Marcello. He's like, I'm looking for great women's, I'm looking for two great commentators for CCW. And he gives you the call, and you find out that the other person you'll be working with is Samira, the person who actually was with you was actually with you during that paparazzi appearance at Empower. What was running through your mind at the time?
Well,
I bet you.
there's actually three of us. Alyssa Marino too is also doing commentary. She's kind of the veteran in this. Samira and I just did both of our first commentaries ever, each with Alyssa. So thank goodness for her for having very well orchestrated notes and kind of taking charge and us just bouncing off of that. I was very, very nervous, but Alyssa Marino, props to her. She's great at ring announcing, commentating, and of course, she's also my co-host on In and Out the Locker Room, which is CCW's podcast. So we were very grateful for her because it's very daunting. Although, kind of when we first started it, I kind of got more comfortable as time went on. But me getting to work with Samira, I've known since before. We've been friends for over 7 years now, but to me, like, she's my best friend. And so to be able to now work together in multiple capacities, and coming up again at WrestleMania, we'll be working together a little bit too. So I'm super excited about that. But just to continue to work with her is just awesome. Like, I get to do some work with my best friend. Like, not a lot of people can say that, I feel like.
Yeah, and then y'all have that chemistry too. So yeah, it's definitely an awesome thing. And honestly speaking, I think y'all should definitely do a podcast together. I know you have a wrestling gal, and you have In and Out, but who knows? I mean, honestly speaking, it would be nice to see Ella and Samira's, I guess, what excellent wrestling adventures, and I could see something cool like that happening for y'all, man. It'll be
We'll
something,
we'll
kind of like
definitely have
Romy on the
some.
show.
Yeah, we'll have some WrestleMania adventures coming up. Samira has been on my podcast like 5 or 6 times now. We recently did a whole reminiscence of Empower, which was my second to last episode of last year. We literally like came out to about 2.5 hours, which is crazy. But like, that's how much fun we had, and it's kind of a story time about that. And she did a vlog on her own YouTube channel too from that weekend, which you can still check out, which I still can't believe is 5 months ago. But definitely we'll be doing a vlog for our Mania weekend coming up in a couple months now. But she'll definitely be back on my podcast, and I know she's kind of rejuvenating her own YouTube channel as well. But I would love to do a podcast with her. I just don't know if either of us have actual time for it.
Yeah, yeah. Trust me, I know podcasts can be pretty time consuming as well, especially like for us. It's like for us who over here at Ringside Society, we're like, we're busy, like, we're trying to be more than just a podcast. We're trying to be like that one of those places that lets people know what's in their areas and so on, like Delaware, we got CCW, and there's, Las Vegas, which is like Versus Pro and all these other places. So and that could be time consuming as well too. So trust
I
me,
know.
I definitely know what y'all go through as well. And then of course, I don't know how you do it, Ella, like with the international wrestlers, like like we've had a couple people like Bunny Mallow. Rob, who else we had, man? I'm getting older, man. Bunny, we had Soraya Knight. We had Soraya Knight, and
We had a
we had
couple fans
somebody,
from France,
Ronnie Knott.
Belgium. Oh yeah, her.
Yeah, and it's like you gotta like adjust. You gotta work around their schedule because like for example, Japan's like right now 14 hours ahead of us. So
Mhm.
you can't interview somebody like let's say this time because in Japan right now they're probably at work and whatnot. So I don't know how you do it, man, but I tip my hat off to you.
Well, I
It's
ironically, upcoming this week, I have an Australian wrestler interview coming out with Shay Cassidy, which I was actually her first ever interview. And I will say, like right now, Australian time is tough too, especially with the time differences, the time forward and time back. So right now, like Sydney, Australia is 16 hours ahead. But if this was like say in May, they'd be 14 hours ahead. So it's crazy. I've done interviews at like 5, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. I've also done interviews at 11 p.m. and midnight. It's honestly, I mean, I love doing it though. Like as long as I don't have like work the next day or anything, I'll do it. Basically working around the schedules. And honestly, there's a lot of great talent in Australia, and I have a couple coming up that are from Australia. In the UK, I've gotten used to. It's always 5 hours, except for that one week in like October where we didn't go forward yet. But I've got my time zones down now. That's how sad it is, actually.
yeah, the UK is fairly easy. The UK is like because we had Soraya Knight on
Mhm.
Paige's mom, and yeah, that was like she was like 5 hours ahead,
Yeah.
and yeah, every time I think about that episode, Rob is gonna probably shake his head, but I call that our Attitude Era episode. That episode had me like that's how my face was
Mhm.
at times. But yeah, I gotta say that's really impressive. And yeah, you're right. Australia does have a lot of talented people. Like one of my favorite stables, TMDK, which most people know as Jonah Rock and Shane and was it Shane and Mikey? I forgot what their full names are, but
I
they
think
only know
so.
them as three people. But there's actually a whole stable of
Mhm.
TMDK, and I've known some people like Madison Eagles is down there too. You have her.
Mhm.
There's also Steph Summers. I think was it Savannah Summers?
Savannah
Is that her name?
Summers, yep, the Princess
Yeah,
of Perfection, yeah, Savannah Summers I've had on before. There's oh my
yeah,
god, there's Jessica Troy. A lot of people know Shazza. There's Kings. There's a lot of people, and the thing is, like, there's like a whole, just like the U.S. has like an East Coast scene, like New York. I mean, there's Florida, then there's California. Like Australia too has like its own kind of similar thing, like on the coast. Like there's the Sydney, Melbourne coast, but then on the opposite side, the west side of Australia, there's like Perth. And so it's there's like a couple different wrestling scenes in Australia, including you also have like Tasmania and New Zealand itself too. There's kind of little hubs too, just like much like the US that you could correlate it to.
yeah. It's just so amazing how many talented women are out there as well, and that are impressive as well. Like we just had one from Puerto Rico, Roxy, and the funny and this is going to show how when you really want something, you make it happen. She was our first non-English speaking guest, and we were able to get and shout out to Scott Bruce from Vixen Wrestling Revolution. We were able to get him to come on the show and actually translate for us what she was saying, and she was very impressive, and hopefully we can get more interviews like that, and like because there's just so many impressive women all over the world, and I hope that they get more exposure because like I said, America's the place. I mean, it's pretty much the place to be to get exposure worldwide. Once you
Mhm.
you know make it over here, you're pretty much good to go. So yeah, I'm definitely aware of Australia, and hopefully I can get to somehow find a way to interview more people from over there because we had like one guest that, well, she was a 15 Minutes of Fandom guest, but she was actually, yeah, but and we actually, I think we did that like I think 12 o'clock at night, if I could remember. It was some crazy time, but it was cool. Yeah.
Make it
So
work. Yeah.
yes, I just have two more questions before I turn it over to Rob. So one of the questions is actually from our own Bobby Batito, who is asking which indie wrestlers do you want to get an opportunity to wrestle Capital Championship Wrestling?
Number one would be one of my most recent interviews, Sandra Moon, the FSW Women's Champion. She's from Las Vegas, but I mean, why not bring some people from kind of the West Coast? I also want to see some more like Texas girls. I know Killa Kate is technically residing in Texas right now. She's a part of the promotion as well, but I would love to see more like Texas girls too. Lainey Luck works a lot in Texas, even though she resides in Chicago. I would love to see Sky Blue, although I don't know her contractual status with anything. I love her. I would love to see Sky Blue. She is a gem in person. I got to finally meet her in person at Empower. But those are a couple that come off the top of my head right now, at least within the United States.
So who I would want to see in CCW would be, you probably know, these girls, the MK Twins. I want to see them have that head to head with the Renegade Twins, Battle of the Twins. That would be something.
It's
Another
Ashley and
tag
Steph,
team.
right? I believe.
I beg your pardon?
I think it's Ashley and Steph, the MK Twins, right?
Yeah. Another team. Well, they're not really a tag team, but they want a tag team, but they've never gotten a chance. Are oh geez, I forgot what her new name is, but she goes by the name of June Jackson. She has one of the best German suplexes in professional wrestling. She wrestles mostly in Arizona, but she recently moved to Las Vegas. And then there's also SOS. I forgot. I think it's Sky Olivia, and I forgot what the other S stands for. But she's June's tag team partner. I'd like to see them get opportunity in CCW. And yeah, there's several people in Texas. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing, but there's also people in Las Vegas as well. You mentioned Sandra Moon, and then there's also another young lady who's up and coming by the name of Dana Lynn, who I just saw and who oddly resembles Sandra Moon. So I'm like, yeah, that could be something. And
Bryn Thorne is also in like the Arizona, Las Vegas, California scene. A big one is obviously like Maserati too. There's a lot in like that West Coast, like southwest of the United States. There's a lot of talented women's wrestlers there.
But another woman I definitely see and is the one I mentioned before, Roxy Boricua, hardcore wrestler. I definitely know she would bring something different to CCW because I don't think I've ever seen any I don't think y'all have had any hardcore matches yet, but that would definitely be something new to check out. But yeah, so my last question. So you recently did some work for PWI. I believe you actually helped with their women's ranking. Their women's, was it the two? Was it two? Is it 250 or was it 500?
It was 150 for the women's 150 issue. Yeah.
All right, PWI, y'all got to make that 250. Come on, man. You know they got more than 150 talented women in the world, man. Come on.
It's very likely that it'll go up to 200. Listen, small steps.
Look, I say this right now. Just put it to 500. Because let's be honest, I could find 500 women for y'all to rank. I know you could too.
I will say, I also work for Bell to Bells under Kristen Ashley, and she was also on the women's committee. She did a 500 women's wrestling rankings for Bell to Bells all by herself that she just recently released a couple weeks ago. So, and that took weeks. I mean, the 150 took a good amount of hours, but imagine 500 all by yourself from all around the world. Kudos to Kristen Ashley. She's a very dedicated and regular PWI contributor who I also work with in many capacities, and she recently just did her own women's 500 for bell to bell. So people should definitely check that out.
I might have to hit her up and have her on the show, man. We gotta talk about that. Bell to Bell. That's ran by, I forgot his name. He's Asian, right? And he wears like a tuxedo, right? Really sharp.
It's ran by Warren Hayes and Kristen Ashley.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I met.
Oh, you're thinking of Ring the Bell with DS Shin. I know you're thinking of Ring the Bell. So Bell to Bells is Kristen Ashley and Warren Hayes.
My bad. I was
all very talented people though. I've gotten to work with all of them.
Yeah, I've met DS. I met DS a couple months ago at the, I don't know if it was, I think it was the big event that they had here in New York. Mm-hmm. And I met him. Cool, very cool guy, sharp dresser, man. Like, I would definitely want that guy to pick up my tuxedo if I ever was to wear one.
He was in the Paparazzi too.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was. That is where I met him in person for the first time, was in St. Louis. He was a part of the Paparazzi with me and Samira as well.
That's cool. That's definitely cool, man. They definitely picked the right people. But what was it like working for PWI? This is my last question, because I know Rob asked the question. I know you gotta go. You gotta be somewhere real soon, so we're gonna make it quick. But what was it like working for PWI? Like, prestigious magazine's been around for, like, I guess, what, 40, 50 years. What was it like getting the call to, like, hey, we want your expertise on this topic, women's wrestling. We know, you're a huge supporter of it. We want your input. What was it like working?
It was surreal. I still remember when I got the call in July from Kristen, because the women's issue was coming up like in a couple weeks later that fall. And I honestly, like, so firstly, I was approached to do just an article, like pretty much coming up about Empower and potentially something else, but it ultimately spiraled and ended up being the Empower article I wrote. But it was a couple weeks later too that I was asked if I wanted to be a part of the women's wrestling committee for the rankings, because I was told, like, I have a vast knowledge and in touch with the independent scene for women's wrestling, which I was like, yes, that I can help you with. And so we had kind of little experts too. We had JPQ, who was a Japanese wrestling expert. There was a bunch of people who had expertise in like Canada and like the main scale stuff. And so for me, my shtick was like independent women's wrestling expertise. And it was still very surreal and kind of daunting too, because that was my first ever thing. And I was like, do I even deserve to be here? Kind of like an imposter syndrome kind of thing. But I was like, there was many times though, not many times, a couple times though, where, I mean, of course we all have our favorites, but you try to make it as objective as possible. But there was definitely a few instances where I went to bat for a few people and like for a certain ranking, and it ended up working out. And so I guess that's kind of why I was on the committee, at least for the independent wrestling wise. There was definitely a few people that I went to bat for, and like laid it down. It was very surreal, and I'm still very grateful I got to be on the committee and write a whole article about Empower.
Yeah, I was very happy for you, and I'm glad you got that. And hopefully, there's many more where that came from. PWI, put that number up. Matter of fact, just put it to 500. Y'all know they got a lot of people there, man. You got the manpower. So, let's get that baby to 500. No 250, no 300, 500. But really and truly, though, Ella, I really hope, I wish you well. You're a hardworking woman, dedicated, and I'm glad to see that it's all paying off for you. And I hope that eventually it ends up being you going to, foreign countries, not just nationwide, but south of the border, north of the border, over the Pacific to Japan, over the Atlantic to Europe. I hope you get that opportunity to actually, attend these events in person, and that way you can actually get to write about it for PWI and just get the experience as well too, because like I said, you really deserve it. And I'm glad to see that everything is working out for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. Kind of Rob has some questions for you. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, Ella? How you doing today?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much, Rob.
Well, that's awesome. So how was your day today? A little birdie told me I think you were at a wrestling show today. Did
I
you really go to one?
I was, yes, I had my shoot job in the morning at 7
Mm.
a.m.
Woo.
After, staying up late for the Rumble. Got off, went to an independent wrestling show, and now I am here on Ringside Society.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, we're all. It's always a blast to have you on the show. What I mean, hey, we need to have part 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how
I'm
what?
here for it.
Hey, there you go. So how was the show today? Was it pretty? How was it? Was it pretty good?
It
Did you have
was,
fun?
yeah. I did. It's cool because I to this promotion is local to where I am in Buffalo, New York. And so this is my fourth time going to it. So it's kind of good to actually be able to correlate storylines and ongoing like feuds and stuff like that. And a new women's champion was crowned tonight. And it's cool to see also it's Nickel City Wrestling where I went tonight. It's cool them to see do two women's matches on the card now instead of just one before. So they've been bringing in women from across the states now. So they've had some really cool additions definitely recently.
Wasn't the new Jasmine Allure? She won
Yes,
it,
it
right?
was the top tier Jasmine Allure. I love her so much.
Mm-hmm. All right, hold on. Yeah, we got which wrestlers from Mission Pro do you want to see show up at Capital Championship?
Oh, there's a lot. There's Kylan's obviously already in. You have the Renegade Twins already in both. Kayla Sparks is in both. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
go big or go home. Thunder Rosa,
That's right.
right?
That's
I
right.
mean, La Rosa Negra, Holodead would be very interesting to meet Mother Endless, I think, in CW. I don't know if it's
Woo.
happened before, but that's an intriguing matchup there, Bobby. Mother Endless and Holodead. Those are the ones off the top of my head.
See, I was going to ask you, be like, hey, because some commentators, are like, yeah, I have a backstage source that told me to. I was like, well, if you need a backstage, hey, hit me
Mhm.
up, hey, what do you need? But I was going to say, except for like Mother Endless, because yeah, last time I talked to her, she choked me out and put a stick to my, throat, and I
Mhm.
was like, I had to, do something to get away. I had to do some magic
Yeah.
tricks to get away. And Masha Slamovich, she's always asking me where the moose and squirrel is, so I'm not going to get much from her.
I love Masha so much. I'm so happy for all her success.
Oh yeah, she's all. Every time I see her, she's always going somewhere or coming from somewhere. I'm like, wow, where do you have the time, man?
Mhm.
It's like I don't know how you have time for yourself. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my lord, you know what I mean? Woo.
Yeah, the one time I interviewed her right after she just got signed by Impact, she literally got off a flight like less than an hour before and then had an interview with me. I was like, girl, I don't know how you do it.
Oh, I know, yeah, because after some shows, I'll run into her like somewhere go get something to eat or whatever, and it's just
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, yeah, getting stuff to roll. You know what I mean? Checking it out, we on our way, caffeine, load up. I'm like, that's right, that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? Life of a wrestler. Shoot.
Exactly.
Now, now you also have a podcast for CCW, in and out the locker room, in and out of the
Correct.
locker room. Okay,
In
in and
and
out the locker room.
mhm.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to get it. Make sure I got it right. Yes, so yeah, you've all had a couple episodes now, and who are some guests that you would love to have on there
Love to
that you
have
haven't had yet?
ooh, okay. So one that I have been trying to get is a WWE Hall of Famer who follows me on Twitter, and I've been trying and trying. Talking about Lita, who just returned in the Royal Rumble last night. I mean, we're trying. That would be a dream interview of mine just in general. We obviously have some fun ones coming up that have already been recorded with a lot of the CCW roster, but also try to expand it out of there. Obviously, we've had like Maria Canales on there, a legend in the game. We've had Lufisto, who also just recently joined CCW, who is also a legend and Indie Wrestling Hall of Famer. But definitely, oh, there's so many people. that I honestly would love to join. Like, even just out of the CCW roster, I feel like I've already spoken to a lot of them, but they have a lot of interesting stories. One that I really want is Megan Bain. That is like a huge, like, she's on my list this year. And so I would love to have the Megasis on there. And so me and Alyssa are trying to make it happen. But definitely like Lita and Megan Bain, I would say, are definitely two that I really, really want on there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, yeah. There's some. Yeah, if I ever saw them in the locker room, I'd be like, oh man, Lita. Oh man, I don't know if I could talk to her. I'd be too scared. It'd be like Trish Stratus. Like Trish Stratus, no doubt. I couldn't be in the same room. You have to leave because I'd be shaking. I'd probably cry or something. Like she would come up and be like, hey, how you doing? I just be like, no, no. She'd be like, this
Yeah.
dude's weird. Get him out of here. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now you were talking about Lita, in the Rumble last night. Now, I had a thing on the Wells Mania podcast. I was selected entrant number 20 for the guys and the gals. You know what I mean? 20 for the men was Matt Riddle. You know what I mean? Now, when the women came up for number 20, I automatically thought of you. I was like, yeah. So how high were you jumping? Were you dancing? Were you doing the how'd you feel,
we
Mickey
were li-
James?
we were live on Discord, so I'm sure, and we recorded it, so I'm sure the clip will be like posted some point by somebody. I honestly died. I was so happy for her, and honestly, just, and also like, because like on Discord though you can't hear it the whole thing, but I rewatched it back today, and honestly, I think she got the second loudest pop of the night after hometown boy Randy Orton. Like her, Melina, and like Randy, I think, got the biggest pops of the night, and it warms my heart so much. And she texted me today. She said she feels like $1,000,000, so that's an inside scoop right there. But it's very well deserved, and the pop she got just is so rewarding and really a true reflection of all the work she has done in really the last 8 months, I would say, since being released from WWE. Her stock has risen so much. The comeback is alive and well, and she made history busting down. I could honestly go on, but she made history busting down that forbidden door in the women's rumble, and it was kind of cool to see her eliminate Michelle McCool. Love you, Michelle, but it was a little history there that I love that they intertwined. It was a good detail.
I liked how she came out with the Impact, the
Hmm.
championship, and they didn't blur it out or anything. You know what I mean? They let her do her thing. Hey, I was like, all right, good job. I like that. I like that.
She looked so happy, and it warmed
Mm.
my heart after everything she's gone through over the last 8-9 months. It was worth it. She entered the WWE Women's Royal Rumble as the Impact Knockouts champion, coming out to her own theme song at Hardcore Country with the championship. That is not something that I don't think will ever happen again.
I don't mean to cut you, Rob, but and I'm not trying to be I'm not a Sami Zayn fan or trying to do anything conspiracy like, but I've been hearing rumors and rattling that the reason why they brought, and I'm not, and like I said, I respect Mickey's ability. I've always have, but I've heard people saying that the only reason why they had Mickey come out with the Impact title and brought her back was because of the whole incident where they sent her things in a garbage bag. Me personally, I don't believe it because come on, Dixie Carter was on WTV several months ago. People tend to forget that. But what are your thoughts? And Rob, I don't mean I know it's your turn, but what do you have to say, just briefly, on what people are saying about that in regards to that?
Well, I mean, she's spoken on it too. I think part of it is also like the amount of mass releases they've done, so they frankly just needed people. But also, she has said this, that she doesn't want her lasting legacy, the last memory of her in WWE, to be that trash bag. And so part of the reason, and again, she said this is not like new information or me leaking whatever. She has said that she also accepted it too because she wants to recreate that lasting memory and not have the last thing people remember her in WWE, that association with the trash bag incident. She wants it to be a positive memory. And I mean, what more positive way than to make history in a shocking Forbidden Door crossover?
Yeah, that was definitely a great moment, and the fact that they let the Impact her come out with the Impact Wrestling Impact Wrestling Championship. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hopefully, you know, there will be. I know this probably will not happen in the near future. Hopefully, there will be an AEW can look past whatever and work together. But I don't think it's gonna happen. Just too much ego there, too much.
And again,
And
I never thought I'd ever see Mickey James back in WWE as the Impact Knockouts champion. So never say never in wrestling. I mean, I highly doubt. I agree with you, but I guess never say never. Honestly.
yeah, Rob, my bad, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, you're good. I was just going to ask, what did you think of the Rumble last night? I guess the overall show. Were you like,
Uh,
oh man, I stayed up for this, or were you like, oh,
yeah.
it's all right?
It had its good points, but it was more the first thing you said. Honestly, I did not even. Part of it was also I had to be up at 6 a.m. for work. But after the mixed tag match was my main event, after it was very obvious who was winning the men's Royal Rumble, and again, that's just my personal. That's just my personal thing. It was just very obvious the route they were going with it, and I had to be up in like 5 hours. So for me, the main event was the mixed tag match. Yeah. So definitely, it was very exciting. The women's Royal Rumble for I would say 90% of it. Um, but then obviously, then it became very obvious who was winning at that point when Ronda Rousey returned. There was also some eliminations that very shocked me. People getting eliminated very quicker than anticipated and other people lasting longer. So there was some confusion in there, but it really warmed my heart to see a lot of the legends returned. Obviously, like Ivory had that amazing spot, Mickey returning. I
Yeah.
mean, and then like the men's rumble, though, I will say, who would have predicted that final four with Bad Bunny, Shane McMahon, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar? Nobody had that on their bingo cards.
No, no. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I thought, yeah, I was like, I stayed up for this too. I like the Seth and Roman match. That was like my highlight. I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
yeah,
Seth coming
I
out
love.
to the Shield. He
Mm,
missed the blonde streak, but Seth coming out and Seth Rollins is like over as a baby face now, which is insane considering
hmm
he was like a top heel on Raw. It's insane, but I'm here for it. It was a great like cocky, arrogant, obnoxious Seth Rollins, but it worked. I loved the nostalgia there.
I actually liked the finish to that match too. I thought it was great storytelling because I know a lot of people were poo pooing on it. You know what I mean? I was like, early, I was like, because you got to figure how mad Roman was at him, and he's just going, he's like, I ain't letting him go. No, he keeps talking all
Mhm.
this stuff. Nope, he deserves it. And I'm like, yeah, that's something probably somebody would do. If you're messing with him like that. I'm like, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made sense. I mean, I would have preferred a different, like, what was it? Technically, was it a DQ? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a DQ. Technically, I would have preferred something, I don't know. But I mean, the story was there obviously after with Roman whacking Seth with the chair as kind of revenge, a reversal of roles from the Shield split in 2014. So I did like the storytelling was definitely there for Seth and Roman.
hmm Yeah, and then yeah, well, Ronda when she came out, I was like, yeah, yeah, Ronda's back, and I'm like. All right, I know who's gonna win now. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then and then when the men's rumble says like, yeah, Brock's probably coming out. Yes, yes. See, a lot of people knew. I don't read dirt sheets or whatever, so a lot of it was a surprise to me. I was like, oh yeah, Ronda. Okay, she's gonna win.
Yeah, it
Brock's
just
he's
it
gonna
just
win.
became very apparent like after she came in, and then also when Brock Lesnar lost the WWE championship, it also became very apparent. So, it is what it is. We're not the
Yeah.
bookers, but
Mm-mm.
that's gonna be our WrestleMania going forward.
Yeah, yeah, it's above my pay grade. You know what I mean? You do what you do. You know what I mean? That's why
Yeah.
they make the millions. And, I, I'm barely going scraping by. I can barely feed my hounds. You know what I mean? As long as they're good.
Yeah.
So before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to ask, when you have your actual time to yourself, you're not watching wrestling, doing your podcast, wrestling gal, in and out of the locker room, and all your stuff that you do, commentary. What are you watching, on like, TV right now? Any movies, TV shows? I'm always trying to find something new. I mean, I always watch the same stuff. I mean, is there
Um,
anything new?
Well, coming up this week, Celebrity Big Brother starts this week. I never
Okay.
get to watch shows like live anymore. I have to watch them like the day after. Honestly, outside of wrestling, the only actual shows that I watch regularly are like Law and Order SVU because I've been a fan since forever. NCIS Survivor when it's on, which it should be back actually next month or early March. Big Brother, or I just watch a lot of YouTube or like Twitch streams, to be honest. I can never watch anything live anymore, honestly, as sad as this is. But this past Friday night on SmackDown was the first time I watched wrestling live in over a month. I normally just follow along from my timeline or watch clips later on because either one, I'm at work, or two, I have to do work from home. So I don't normally get to watch wrestling live unless I go out of my way for an occasion like the Royal Rumble. But I mean, it's gonna have to change going forward now that Mania season's here, though. So
There you go. There you go. Hey, I like NCIS. I mean, especially with Ziva. She was always my favorite.
oh,
Ziva.
her returning was perfect too. A couple years ago, it was great.
I like Kate. Kate, oh man, why did she
Oh,
only last 2 seasons?
I
Like, come on,
know.
man. I loved her. My dad, I'll go over to his house. My mom and dad, they'll always watch it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
My dad, once Ziva's leaves, he's like, I don't watch it anymore. I'll go back to the beginning. Yeah, he loves
Fair.
Ziva. That was his girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, nah, I'm good.
There's
You
been
know
a
what I mean?
lot of cast changes recently too. Bishop just left. It's weird to see Timmy McGee now, like kind of in charge now. I don't
Yeah,
I don't want to give spoilers if anybody hasn't watched, but
yeah. I heard. Yeah, Gibbs is gone. Yeah, all that. I'm like, oh man. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah. I mean, you've been on the air for however long they've been on. It's like
mhm.
forever. I mean, it's gonna happen. But I do want to say before I pass on back to Remy, I want to say, thank you very much for, taking time out of your busy schedule. Come on, chat with us. I really appreciate it. I wish you nothing but success in all the things you do. I wish, yeah, like I wish you get to, go travel the world doing what you do,
I hope
doing wrestling
so.
stuff and all that. Oh, that would be so awesome. You know what I mean? I'll just live vicariously through you if you do that. So
I
I wish,
certainly hope so. That is the goal, Rob. Honestly, I just want to make wrestling media full time. Like I said, I have a shoot job, day job, whatever you want to call it, on top of everything else. And so, but I mean, that's the goal this year. Slowly making steps towards that, but I mean, that's the dream.
that's right. Hey, I'm sending positive vibes your way. That's going to happen. I believe in it. I believe in you one day.
I
I
hope
believe in
so.
it. It's going to happen. That's right. But yeah. Other than that, yeah, I want to say, thank you very much, and yeah, it was a blast chatting with you as always. You know what I mean?
Thank you. And to answer your question, Bobby, I would say Riley Shepard, the gladiator of the geeks, who is also very strong. I think could really be comparable to the strength of Camille. So I think that could make for an interesting potential NWA Women's World Championship match.
Awesome. Yeah, Ella, I gotta say, thank you very much for actually appearing on our show once again. We really and truly appreciate it. And we're very grateful for you, and we're very happy for you that you're making great strides in professional wrestling. As a commentator and a contributor for PWI. And also, I need you to send a message. Apparently, your co-host Alyssa likes to eat cereal. We love cereal here too. I'm a sucker for some cinnamon toast crunch. Rob, I think, eats kicks or tricks, or I
As you
think
I like
say
Lucky.
that.
Blueberry.
Yeah,
Give me
he
some
likes
Blueberry.
blueberry. He
As
likes
you say
blueberry.
that. I got her. She has a new shirt. I just got it in the mail yesterday. Um, Alyssa Marino. I'm gonna send this to her after this. Let's get cereal.
Yeah.
I
So
love her.
with that being said, we love cereal here. I don't know what Kathy eats. I think Kathy might eat Chex or Life cereal. I don't know. Does she even eat cereal, Rob?
Raisin Bran.
Yeah, Raisin Bran's pretty cool. But what I'm trying to say is, and Alyssa, if you're watching, we would love to eat some cereal with you whether it's here on Ringside Society or your own podcast, we would definitely like to make that happen. So yeah, but hopefully it'll be soon, a lot sooner than later. But Ella, thank you very much. We really and truly do appreciate you being on our show. And once again, I know it's been a couple of months, but congratulations on your new position with CCW. They picked the right person or one of the right people to actually be on their team. And I can definitely see great things coming your way very soon. And don't go too far because once we're done getting Alyssa and we're done getting Samira, because we're coming for them too, we're gonna try to have all four of y'all back later on this year if y'all are up for it. You know, just to talk to the whole CCW gang and whatnot. But with that
I
being
hope to see
said,
you all at the show one day.
Oh,
Hopefully, that'd be awesome.
I want to go to one so badly. Like I said, though, travel is very limited unless I use my paid time off, like I'm doing for Mania. So
There you
if
go.
you'll be in Dallas, I'll see you there. But
Oh no, I'm not gonna
hey,
make it Texas anytime soon. I'm trying to. That's a place I need to go to.
mm,
So next show that goes there, I'm gonna try and crash at Kathy's. I'm gonna sleep in my car in her driveway and then ride with her to the show, and then I'll sleep in my car, head back home.
yeah. So yeah, hey, I'd say make it count, man. I mean, I was gonna do that like 2 years ago. I was gonna go to WrestleMania in Tampa too. I was putting in for the paid time, the paid time off and whatnot, and then COVID hit, and it was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to WrestleMania this year. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe you'll meet somebody, or hey, maybe WWE would actually like your work and be like, hey, you know something, we want to hire you. Next, you see Ella J gets hired by WWE. And I'm like, oh
Oh,
snap, or
I
I'd
Impact,
wish.
or
I
NWA.
love
You never
Impact.
know.
Mm.
Yeah. But with that being said, Ella, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next commentary appearance is, or when they want to listen to your podcast, or when they want to purchase Ella J merchandise? Where can book and where can bookers and promoters find you as well?
The easiest way is to go where it says right here at It's Ella J on Twitter. If you go there, there is a link tree in my bio to all my links to all my podcasts, my writing and shows and stuff like that because it would take forever to list that. But also in my bio too is my email, awgpod@gmail.com, which now I wish I could change it going back, but it is what it is. Or you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at a wrestling gal as well.
Awesome. So y'all definitely make sure y'all are following this woman. She's doing great things and very dedicated to women's wrestling. If you're a women's wrestling fan, check out a wrestling gal, man. Trust me, you will not be bored. You will definitely be amazed. I've seen a couple of her episodes. You will be highly impressed. I highly recommend it. I know we're not gonna get jealous here at Ringside Society if you check out her podcast because let's be honest. I always say watching different podcasts. I know this is gonna like this analogy. It's like eating cereal. One day you want some raisin bran. The next day you want some Frankenberry. Maybe on Friday you want some Cocoa Puffs. Variety is always great. So check out a wrestling gal, especially if you're a women's wrestling fan. If you don't, you're doing yourself a great injustice. But with that being said, we're about to shut it down right now. My eyelids are getting heavy, so that means it's time for a bit of a nap. But
Me too.
before I do that, Rob Bass, the Sean Spence to my Burton Guster, the Riggs to my Murtaugh, and the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin. Where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows? And where can wrestling fans find you when they want to find out when your next appearances and whatnot?
All right, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, Rob_Base82, and then Facebook and YouTube, Rob Base.
Cool. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything interesting or cool to say, but who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky one of these days. I'm on Twitter at the Remy Blue. I'm also on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. And our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're also on Spotify and we're still on Blog Talk. Radio, and we are also on. We have a Facebook group as well. So just definitely check out our Facebook group, and we're also on YouTube, which is where we have a lot of our episodes as well too. Go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. Once you see that sweet OMG dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, that's us. Go ahead and subscribe to all our videos because you don't want to miss a thing. As a matter of fact, I'm feeling kind of nice tonight. Rob, should I tell him? Should I tell him? Should I
Yeah,
tell
man,
him who
go
we have?
ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
So that being said, this Friday, yes, coming up this Friday, we will be having Marek Brave. That's right. Or you don't know who that is? Okay,
Oh, Black and Brave Academy
go.
representing.
He's actually the head trainer of the Black and Brave Academy and also Seth Rollins' former tag team partner. So he'll be joining us this Friday. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And and while you're waiting for that episode, check out our other episodes with many impressive guests like Saraya Knight, Kylan King, the Diamond Sheik, Parker Lee, Katie Hebner. That's right, Earl Hebner's daughter. She's been on she's our season premiere. Check her out. Interesting stories. You trust me, each and every one, you will not be bored. We guarantee that. But with that being said, oh, I forgot one more thing. We also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have a lot of designs. One for St. Patrick. Valentine's Day is coming up. We have a Valentine's Day design too. We also have an American flag one that we were thinking about when all three of us were kind of drunk on something, and yeah, I don't know where that came from. And we also have some adult oriented ones coming too, right? Some Attitude Era esque t shirts coming up. Stand by. It's going to be something. But with that being said, definitely check out our merchandise. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live. We really and truly appreciate it. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself at a Golden Corral and Rob Bass at a taco festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. You think they get it? Season 4. But with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we are very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the illustrious, stupendous, fantastic works of Ella J.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we will be back this Tuesday with another impressive guest, another impressive episode. But until then, I want y'all to do four favors for me. Not too much, pretty simple. Stay healthy, stay safe, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware. Bye.